Ancient Egypt, a land of golden pyramids and god-kings whose names echo through eternity. We think of Ramses the Great, Tutankhamun, Cleopatra. Their legacies are carved in stone, written in papyrus, and displayed in museums worldwide. But what about the pharaohs who vanished? The ones history almost forgot? Today, we are diving deep into the sands of time to uncover the story of a king who was nearly erased from existence, Shepseskare. Imagine being a pharaoh, a living god on earth, ruler of one of the most powerful civilizations in history. You'd expect your name to be immortalized, your face on colossal statues, your tomb a monument for the ages. But for Shepseskare, who reigned around the middle of the 25th century BC, the reality was starkly different. His time on the throne was so brief, perhaps only a few months, maybe a few years at most, that he left almost no footprint on the sands of time. While his predecessors and successors built magnificent pyramids and sprawling temple complexes, Shepseskare's reign is a whisper in the grand chorus of Egyptian history. We have no confirmed pyramid, no grand statues, no personal belongings that scream his name. It's like he was a ghost, a fleeting shadow on the throne of the two lands. So, how do we even know he existed? Our evidence comes from fragments, scattered puzzle pieces that historians have painstakingly put together. We have a few clay seal impressions bearing his name, discovered at the mortuary temple of another pharaoh, and his name appears on some, but not all, of the ancient king lists compiled by later Egyptians. These lists were like official records of the royal lineage, but the fact that Shepseskare is sometimes included and sometimes omitted is a massive clue. It screams instability, controversy, and a reign so contested that even the official scribes couldn't agree on whether to count him. This wasn't just a case of a short rule. It was a sign of a kingdom in turmoil. Let's set the scene. Shepseskare came to power during the 5th Dynasty, a period we often associate with the rise of the sun cult of Ra and the construction of smaller, but beautifully decorated, pyramids. The transition of power from one pharaoh to the next was usually a well-oiled machine, often passing from father to son, but the evidence surrounding Shepseskare suggests this was anything but a smooth handover. The conflicting king lists, the lack of a tomb, and the absence of any major building projects all point to one thing: a succession crisis. He was likely a placeholder king, a temporary ruler who seized the throne, or was placed upon it, during a chaotic power struggle between more powerful and legitimate claimants. Think of it like a Game of Thrones, ancient Egyptian style. Perhaps the previous king died without a clear heir, or maybe his chosen successor was too young or too weak to rule. In that power vacuum, a figure like Shepseskare could emerge. Was he a brother, a cousin, an ambitious court official? We simply don't know. His origins are as mysterious as his end. He might have been a prince from a lesser branch of the royal family who made a bold move for the throne, only to be quickly overthrown by a stronger rival. Or perhaps he was a regent who declared himself king. Whatever the case, his grasp on power was fragile and ultimately fleeting. The strong rulers who came before and after him, like Nusayrini and Neferfri, dominate the archaeological record of this era, leaving Shepseskare squeezed between them, a footnote in their grand stories. This is what makes him so fascinating. While other pharaohs left behind a legacy of conquest, construction, and cultural reform, Shepseskare's legacy is one of absence. He built no great temples that we know of. He left no inscriptions boasting of his divine right to rule or his victories in battle. He enacted no lasting reforms that changed the course of Egyptian society. He was a king who ruled, yet in the grand narrative of Egypt, it's almost as if he never was. History, it seems, is written by the victors, and in the dynastic struggles of the 5th Dynasty, Shepseskare was not a victor. The pharaohs who followed him had little interest in preserving his memory. In fact, they may have had every reason to erase it, to write him out of the official story to legitimize their own rule. This process, known as damnatio memoriae, or the damnation of memory, was a powerful political tool in ancient Egypt. By destroying a predecessor's statues, erasing their name from monuments, and writing them out of the king lists, a new pharaoh could effectively delete them from history. And while we don't have definitive proof of a systematic campaign to erase Shepseskare, the deafening silence in the historical record speaks volumes. So why should we care about a king who did so little, a ruler who was almost a non-entity? We should care because Shepseskare's story shatters our perception of the all-powerful, unshakable pharaoh. It reveals the hidden fragility behind the golden mask. We tend to see ancient Egypt as a monolithic, stable empire that lasted for 3,000 years, but the reality was far more complex and turbulent. The throne was not always secure. The divine right of kings could be challenged, and a pharaoh could be powerful one day and a forgotten memory the next. Shepseskare reminds us that history is not just about the great men and women who build empires. It's also about the gaps, the silences, and the figures who disappear into the cracks. His story is a powerful testament to the fact that power, even for a supposed god king, can be incredibly transient. He is the perfect example of a king who shapes our understanding of history not by his actions, but by his conspicuous absence. His missing pyramid makes us question the very nature of kingship and burial in the Old Kingdom. His contested place in the king list forces us to look more critically at these ancient sources and understand them not as simple facts, but as political documents. The story of Shepseskare isn't just about one forgotten king. It's a detective story that reveals the political turmoil, the succession struggles, and the power plays that were happening behind the serene facade of pharaonic civilization. He is a historical paradox, a king defined not by what he left behind, but by what he didn't. In his silence, we hear the echoes of a struggle for power. In his absence, we see the proof that even the mightiest throne could wobble. He is the pharaoh who almost vanished, but in his rediscovery, we gain a much richer, more nuanced understanding of ancient Egypt. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into one of history's great mysteries. If you enjoy uncovering the forgotten stories of the ancient world, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an episode. We'll see you next time.